here we go. I think we might be reconnected now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ronald Ray here, your boy with a cornbread accent. Welcome to Wrestling Gold Friday night. Hopefully, it's welcome to everybody. There we go. Well, yeah, here we go. We're good to go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Take two. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ronald Ray here, your boy with a cornbread accent. Welcoming you to Wrestling Gold Friday night. And this is so yeah, if you can hear me, see me, let me know. Uh, anyway, yes, we made it to Friday night, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, this is Wrestling Gold Friday night, where we talk about the good old days of professional wrestling, back when wrestling and wrestling was real. Because damn it, it's still real to us. So yeah, if you join me on Facebook Live or YouTube Live streaming, um, give me a thumbs up if you're digging it. Help your boy out a little bit. Give me that thumbs up. Give me a hit me up in this chat or comments on Facebook if you're watching me on Facebook Live. Also, if you're not a subscriber yet, be a champ. Hit that subscribe button. What's up, RRC? What's up, Brenda Watson? Yes, this is for the working men and women. Uh, Got to give cheers to them. Uh, Cheers, we made it through a good week, and cheers to those who unfortunately got to work the weekend. We appreciate you folks too. And no, it's not canned beer. Actually, I ran out. What's up, Joe King? But yeah, as you can tell, it's not my usual Miller High Life. It's Yingling. Went to the store, and I'm not one of these people that go to the store, and if they don't exactly have what I want, I'm gonna make the trouble just go to another store. They had this. I'm like, this would do. I actually did have Miller High Life that was in a can, and I don't know if it's because my dad was like that. My dad would drink beer out of the can. Brother does, but he actually explained to me why he did it. I think one thing is cheaper, and the other thing he has a nice little can koozie or wherever you call it, little thing that'll keep it cool, and he uses me. Well, of course, I don't drink as much beer as he does, so therefore I can be a little more picky. I'll take my beer out of a bottle. So if anybody that any alcohol drinkers out there, what's your beer choice, drink of choice? Let me know. We talk about a little bit everything on these live streams, but like I said, we focus on the classic stuff on here. Talk about wrestling and all that good stuff. Any adventures this week? No, not too many adventures this week. I got a new phone today. It's plugged up. I ain't really it yet. Um, you know the deal. Went on there and it said, "Hey, you're due for a free upgrade." Like free, I can do free. I can do free all day long. Twice on Sunday, 7 days a week. Twice on this back in the good old days. So I'm getting I got a now Samsung S55 Edge. That's kind of cool. Like I said, I got it plugged up. Probably play with it after after the show tonight, or probably in the morning. Since gosh, thank goodness I do not have to go to the office. That was the good thing about getting to come home a little early yesterday. Uh, to just work in the office today, and yes, had to do a little work in the office today because everything was rained out, and therefore I got to turn in my expenses, my paperwork all in. So, what? Get to be lazy a little bit tomorrow. I'm going to uh independent wrestling show tomorrow night in Jefferson, Georgia. One Fall Wrestling. Sounds looks like it's going to be a good card out there. So I never went to a One Fall show. It used to be called Turnbuckle, but they I think because Turnbuckle was synonymous with of course Dusty Rhodes, Dustin, and Cody Rhodes. Cody, of course, in WWE. Uh, but he still has his Nightmare Factory. I think QT Marshall does most of their training out there. So a lot of people at the One Fall, I think, from what I've been told, are sometimes I'll bring some AEW people in, to, or be in the show, wrestle on the show, not top stars, but how many stars out of the list? No Kenny Omega, in other words, but they've had Griff Garrison, QT Marshall, they've had uh, Austin and Colton Gunn, along with Billy Gunn on their shows, but I don't think this one's gonna have, uh, neither of them on there, but, should still be a good show tomorrow. Looks okay, but a lot of the wrestlers there are from the Nightmare Factory, so, if you're in Jefferson, Georgia, hey, go check it out. Alright, now, a little bit of that, a little bit of me kinda, wasting some time. Hello, Karen Poole. Yeah, we're matching. Check it out. This is for later, or not too much later. It's a pink can called Ultra Strawberry Dreams. So, because this beer's not done. Like that. It's done. What's up, Bret Hart? The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Yes, sir, it is. I was about to make a kind of a joke about that. I was like, it's pink. It's Bret Hart's and Adrian Street's favorite color. So yes, I am that old. I know who Adrian Street is. So, speaking of history, let's get right to it. Let me pull up my little notes here. Not a whole lot to talk about, but we'll get right to it. On this day in 1970, at the Sam Houston, that's right, that's right, Bret Hart's favorite color, the pink and black attack. Anyway, this day in 1970, at the Sam Houston Coliseum, they had a little Parade of Champions show. Attendance was 13,000 people, with an estimate 1,500 turned away. That'd be something. Uh, Nick Kozak wrestled Ronnie Etchinson to a time limit draw. Terry Funk defeated Lord Charles Montague, or he defeated him. There we go. Killer Kowalski defeats the Spoiler to win the NWA Texas Brass Knuckles Championship. Um, they had a Georgia one. Uh, not that much of my history, but it seemed like the Brass Knucks Championship was kind of like a prelude to like the hardcore title a little bit. Separate it was as much furniture moving. It's just one of those. It was a brawl kind of no disqualification deal. Uh, but yeah, Killer Kowalski won it from the Spoiler. Uh, not familiar with the Spoiler. I do recommend checking him out if you like the big man, athletic guy, kind of like the Mark Callis, Undertaker. Uh, he got a lot of stuff from the Spoiler. When he Spoiler would walk the ropes through the elbow, use the ropes at you know for his advantage. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to make sure I wasn't missing nothing. Facebook chat. Actually, hopefully I can. I guess I'll bring them both up because some reason it's not showing up on my OBS. But I can see. So, so yeah, like I said, a lot of the top rope walking stuff, and for a big guy, he was very agile. Um, I kind of like his real name was John Jardine. That's a full long time. So this was 1970, I think. At least I think 86. I think that's kind of when he probably wound down wrestling for world class for a couple few shots. But oh, for some reason my chats are not on my OBS. Show up there. Like I said, he kind of on the downside. 86, so I didn't really get to see him in his prime. I think I want to say I got a videotape of Georgia 1979. Watched some Georgia Championship Wrestling 1980 or something like that. And it showed a lot of the spoiler Don Jardine in Georgia. He was the national champion at the time. That what years it was, but probably 82, 83, something like that. And I was like, wow, dude was freaking good. So that's how I became a fan of the spoiler. Move along here, same card here. Uh, Betty Nikolai defeats the Texas Women's Champion Evelyn Stevens. A little dark history about I think it was Evelyn Stevens. I kind of read this last night when I was setting this up. Yeah, she was a longtime ladies wrestler in Texas. Um, so yeah, she wound up. Let's see. At one point in time, Stevens, whose real name was Evelyn Jardine Regal. Hopefully, I pronounced that right. Um, she was in a relationship one time with Wahoo McDaniel. At another point in time, she was married to, hey, speaking of the devil, uh, Don Jardine. Spoiler. Uh, the couple got divorced. She married again, this time to a bodybuilder and gym owner, Frank Regal. In December 1986, she was arrested for shooting her husband three times in the face and chest in their home in San Antonio, Texas, killing, unaliving him. She was convicted of murder, given 20-year sentence, but was pardoned after 5 years. Uh, I didn't read too much more into that. I'm suspecting, I guess, abuse on his part. Uh, maybe. I will look into that a little more later. I'm guessing it was, because of abuse. Hey, maybe, yeah, maybe her name brings up again. There's a lot of digging into that. I think there's a YouTube video featuring her story. But yeah, I guess there was a little bit of spat, and she was like, "Not today, brother. Not today, hubby." She like I said, shot him like 3 times in the face and the chest. Uh, but in this case, she lost her Texas Women's Championship. That let's see other matches on that show. Johnny Valentine, the NWA Texas Heavyweight Champion, defeated Mil Mascaras by countout. NWA American Champion Boris Malenko defeated Fritz von Erich. Uh, gosh, this is some history here. You got Boris Malenko, the father of Joe, and most of you people know Dean Malenko. Again, um, I recommend looking up some Joe and Dean Malenko videos on YouTube or wherever you can find them on. Uh, Good tag team, both of them good workers, but Dean, uh, I guess lasts a whole lot longer than Joe did. Uh, and they had a good runs in Japan as a tag team, so check it out. And of course, Chris Von Erich, father of the Von Erich boys, Kevin, Kerry, David, Mike, Chris. Let's see. NWA World Champion Dory Funk Jr. defeated Wahoo McDaniel 2 falls to 1. Uh, Back then, they used to have most of their title matches were 2 out of 3 fall matches. They tried to revamp that, I think, in the early 90s, I believe, to really nothing. Checking on my first chat. All right. On this date in 19, on this date in 1973, Tony Garea and Haystack Calhoun, uh, big man, he was a big man, uh, 400 something pounds, I think he was billed at. Anyway, they would win the WWF Tag Team Championship against, or took the titles from professional or yeah, professional Toru Tanaka and Mr. Fuji in Hamburg, Pennsylvania. On this date in 1978, Antonio Noki defeated Andre the Giant via countout to win the first New Japan Madison Square Garden League tournament. Of course, as you can tell there, I don't think that was Madison Square Garden. Couldn't get no Madison Square Garden pictures. I looked, couldn't find none. So this is what I got. On this date in 1981, Mr. Olympia, a real name Jerry Stubbs, vacated NWA United States Junior Heavyweight Championship due to being over the weight limit and wanting to move to the heavyweight division to begin with. Um, I can say Jerry Stubbs, he put on the mask, be Mr. Olympia. Uh, good wrestler back in his day. Um, and of course, in the 80s, he just quit being Mr. I think he, I think he, a couple times he went back to Mr. Olympia, but came back and uh, just he is Jerry Stubbs. Got a little to say. spent more time eating cheeseburgers, I guess, than hitting the gym, uh, working on that waist. But he was still, even at that point, he was a hell of a talent. Him and Tony Anthony, the Dirty White Boy, hell of a tag team. But at this point, like I said, he was the NWA US Junior Champion. But he's like, look, I'm ready to go up to the heavyweight. Also on this date in 1981, Jake Roberts defeated the Grappler in Shreveport, Louisiana for the North American title. I wonder if this is the match because in Jake's interview, he had mentioned that when he developed DDT, it was totally by accident. This is, I mean, go back and this is Jake's story. Probably better explained. Anyway, I guess the Grappler went for Lynn Denton, went for a dive, and somehow Jake Roberts slipped and caused the Grappler to hit the mat head first. Kinda laid him out. So he covered him, pinned him. I don't know if, this was that particular match, but pretty much that's how the DDT was invented. I guess the way he kinda dived on him, he kinda had his head and went down, then, of course, he worked on it, then the DDT was born. Not sure if it was this night, but he did say the Grappler was the first unfortunate recipient of the DDT accidentally, but it got over, he used it. Nobody I mean, nowadays, DDT is just another spot. Back in that day, nobody got from the DDT, and it's kinda started a little bit, uh, late '80s too. I think Ricky Morton would use a version of a DDT, but used as a high spot. Um, Dusty Rhodes used a version of DDT, used as a high spot. Then the Freebirds came in. They used the DDT as a finisher, as well as Arn Anderson. He used the DDT as a finisher as well. Actually, Jumpin' Joey Maggs when he was in Deep South Wrestling. God, yes, that full of information sometimes. Uh, when he was in Deep South Wrestling, he used the DDT as a finisher. So people started using that. Rick Rude used actually when Rick Rude was in the NWA. I want to say also in maybe in World Class too. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But um, also Eddie Gilbert used it in Memphis as well. Uh, Early Memphis, like 84, 85. But when Rick Rude was in the NWA, one half of the tag team champions with Manny Fernandez, the Rude Awakening was the DDT. So it was kind of funny seeing now Jake Roberts is in WWE or WWF and Rick Rude was in WWF. How are they going to work this out? And I guess they figured it out. Jake kept the DDT. Rick Rude just called the Heyman Net Breaker the DDT or the Rude Awakening. Uh, Worked out for everybody. But um, but yeah, that like I said, at that time the DDT was er- I think just about everybody's favorite finishing maneuver. It was I think the last move that kind of got over that way was the Canadian Destroyer by uh, Petey Williams. But then everybody kind of bastardized it, especially. I did think it was cool to see that at least for a couple weeks, Penta used it as a finisher instead of just another spot. But, yeah, it was the DDT man. It was yeah, it's probably more popular than the wrestler itself. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Before I move on to the last thing here, I'm going to try this. So nice little energy drink to keep me up, perk me up. So hey, this is Mike. Pick up here. Cruel but fair. The DDT. Yep. Oh gosh. Okay. So while we're on the subject, I'm digressing a little bit. I remember when I first started watching wrestling, Jake the Snake Roberts was in Mid South. It was still Mid South then. It didn't quite become UWF yet. It was getting there, but at the time it was Mid South. Uh, Bill Watts and somebody else up. They showed a video and they were trying to tell kids not to use these finishing moves. They're trying to tell kids not to try out any of these moves, and really enforce the DDT. Because supposedly, this is what they said. Um, there was two kids played wrestling on the street. One of the kids DDT one another kid, and it knocked him out, and it hurt him really bad. Uh, how bad? But yeah. So them doing their PSA public service announcement and trying to do the kids like, hey, kids, do not try these moves at home. And they, I think I forgot who they showed Jake Roberts giving it to. But he gave the DDT to somebody on a chair, and uh, the recipient busted open because of the DDT on the chair, got knocked out as well. So that's one of those images that kind of is embedded in my brain. I do remember um, that whole process for that whole video. Them going out and telling people, "Do not use the DDT. Uh, don't use kids. Do not try this at home." It's before WWE started doing it. I don't know. Do they still do that? Uh, tell kids not to try. I know. I think the video game or even last year's video game. I can't remember. Hmm. So I can't quite remember right now. Anyway, last but not least, on this date in 1986. Gosh, we what's the same one they show the brutal clothesline? Um, it probably was. I mean, I know they showed a few moves. One of my big clothesline because they're probably like, "Hey, do not try and clothesline your friend because it might break your friend's neck." Uh, who would? I guess it probably was from Steve Williams at the time. The good doc. It's not ballet, brother. But might have been the same one. Um, let's see, I think might have been from Hacksaw. Jim Duggan. I'm trying to remember now. Should try to find that video. That had to be from late '85, early '86. It was before, like I said, before Mid South went to UW. It was still Mid South. Um, yeah, yeah, it had to be somewhere in between. He had a dude land on the back of his head with force. Yeah. Uh, anyway, yeah, uh, man, Mid South wasn't for the faint of heart, man. Dang. Um, I digress to another story. A couple weeks ago, uh, there's a show in Monroe, Southern Fried Wrestling, and there was a match between basically two promoters. Uh, the promoter for um, Southern Fried and the promoter for another a show in Tyrone. I think it was Action Pro or something like that. Anyway, They wrestled for a bit, and gosh, what was I going? I totally forgot my train of thought. Oh, I remember now. Anyway, so one of the things they did at Manders, David Manders, the Southern Pride promoter, the babyface of the show, that's what's the show, took Matt Griffith, the guy from Action Wrestling, had a couple fans chop him, and one of the fans, he, did a pretty good job, laid it in. Went to another guy, didn't quite lay it in too well, and I see him at another show last week, the Tap show, and I told him, it's like, "Man, I hate to tell you, Bill Watts would have fired you for that. If you worked for Bill Watts and you chopped somebody like that, he would have fired you, but Bill wanted you to lay them kicks in." If anybody remembers that Jim Cornette show interview, know where that line came from. "Gosh, you gotta lay these kicks in. Here, let me show you on this Halliburton briefcase." But, yeah. Anyway, yeah, on this date in 1986, Owen Hart made his in-ring debut. Uh, I like I said, didn't watch, Stampede Wrestling. Few of the matches were shown on Pro Wrestling this week on Channel 36. I think one of his matches was shown on there. But he's one of the first guys where you didn't really know too much about him unless you read the magazines. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, Inside Wrestling, uh, The Wrestler. It would show pictures, show the matches, or not show pictures of the matches. So when he did become the first time he became a Blue Blazer in the WWF, it was like, open the magazine up, Owen Hart. So um, he was a talented dude, and he was a high flyer at the time. He went to Japan, had some great matches with Jushin Liger. So yeah, that's another one of those, highly recommend kids go on YouTube and check those matches out. Um, but well, last week we spoke a lot about Owen Hart, because last week was the anniversary of his passing. But but on this date in 1986, when he made his in-ring debut, the baby Hart, youngest Hart, made his debut. And I mean, I hate to digress, you know, but gosh, 1986, Stampede has some talent, man. Owen Hart, Brian Pillman, uh, Chris Benoit. I think they probably a couple years after British Bulldogs came back for a year or so after that. But making a scene that might not become, unfortunately, Bastion Booger, Mighty Wilbur, or what not. Uh, no, Norman the Lunatic, not Wilbur. Norman the Lunatic. Um, Steve Salvo. Gosh, that guy's name. He had a couple shots in WCW, but people very much Cameron something. I want to say Curtis Cameron. And I think Bad News, even though he had been a wrestler for a while, I think he was up there, then went down to Florida, for a time. But man, 86 was just a great crop of rookie wrestlers. I mean, still, well, I mean, Owen Hart was the Rookie of the Year in '87. I guess they didn't really. It's Pro Wrestling Illustrated. They could figure it out some other day. But like I said last week, rest in peace, Owen Hart. And that concludes today in wrestling history. Um, hey, I chat on my. Oh, yes. Yeah. What should we get to now? This is about time for that watch along. Like I said, this is going to be 1977. Very interesting. I'm very interested in seeing this. Uh, ever since I read Roddy Piper's book, especially, uh, it's like, I heard it mentioned in shooting interviews and stuff like that, but didn't really pay much attention to it. Um, I think Bill Watts wrestled there for a while too. I spoke fondly of it. Say, hey, Roy Shire and uh, Ray Stevens, those people there. But Roddy really he put San Francisco territory over and a Portland territory over. Because I think that, I think if I remember correctly, San Francisco was a place where finally got figured out his niche. Portland and even bigger star than, of course, Mid Atlantic and Georgia that put him over nationally, especially Georgia. Even though he is just basically used to as a commentator in Georgia, um, Ole fired him. But of course, then here he comes into WWF, Peter with Hogan. The rest is history about that. Go ahead, share the link here. Get the link. Yeah, once you folks thought I had it, copied so I can just paste it on there, but I forgot I did trying to look up Evelyn's. Ready as 7 AM. We're ready to go here. Let me get myself ready here. We'll do the countdown here. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 2, 1. Press play now. Now press play. Lamanamanumi. Is that Lamanamanumi? Did he say that was Lamanamanumi? The great Lamanamanumi of the legend Roddy Piper. Now I forget, did he already know how to play the bagpipes before he became a wrestler? Or did he kind of learn when he became a wrestler and started doing this gimmick? Now, I'm pretty sure Lamanamanamu here is not enjoying this one bit. The Japanese legend, uh, not only the most technically sound, uh, best technician uh, ever, but also hardcore legend, is Lamanamanamu. Now, this might be earlier in Lamanamanu's career. He might be the rookie in here, but Piper the veteran. So probably at this time, Lamanamanamu uh, didn't have the patience. Yeah, I got a pair of underwear just like that. There we go. I'm Nui. Oh, but they wasn't able to outquick the Scotsman, the rowdy one, Hot Rod, Rowdy Roddy Piper. Look there, a reversal from Lama Namanumi. Oh, telling the referee, Lama Namanumi, don't tap out. There wasn't a tap out there, ref. Look at here. Great little reversal from Lama Namanumi. Piper like, hey, dude, quit pulling my underwear. Don't pull my hair. Roddy Piper, by God. I don't know. I mean, even though Piper's got the height advantage, Lama Namanui looks a little more muscular. So I don't know if Piper wants to go with testicles of strength with Lama Namanui. That might be a bad idea. D long grab from Lama. Oh, good reversal from Piper there. Yeah, this time well, I don't know. He never really had a physique. Now he did get a little bit of size on him when he came back. Did that comeback? Well, Intercontinental, he muscled up a little bit. I think he kind of muscled up a little bit for Hollywood too. I mean, he was never a big body guy. He wasn't Hulk Hogan, Billy Graham, a Road Warrior, anything like that. I think when the first comeback after he retired after WrestleMania 3, he kind of muscled up a little bit. Oh, looked like he was going for a testicular claw there, but went for a body slam, and Lama Namanubi, that ring technician, a footlocker. I think he was using a closed fist there. Oh, now I guess you've seen that one, didn't you? Footlocker. If you walk around a little bit, but now Piper's had enough. He's like, look, I'm not going to out wrestle this ring technician here, the savvy young kid, Lama Namanumi. I gotta go with the fisticuffs. Uh-oh. You do not check the Japanese guy. He no sells the chops, even to this day. Do not expect Lama Namanumi to sell a chop. They don't. They just don't do that. They might sell a punch at this time. They barely do that now, but they will no sell a chop and chop you back. That's the Japanese way. big knee. Here comes Lama Lama Nui. Try to make a comeback. But, oh, Piper. Beat the ass. Lama Lama Nui. Fight fire with fire there. Now going back to the basics. Working on that arm. Trying to get that submission, that tap out win, maybe. Oh, guess Foot Locker missed that tap out there. This referee reminds me of Bronco Lubic. You know how Bronco Lubic never left his feet? He didn't even always like kneel down to make a 3 count. He didn't really, you know, like most referees, they go, lay down and give a 3 count. Yes, the chops were always. Oh, never mind. The ref lifted his feet a little bit there. Is that? Are we sure that's not Bronco Lubic refereeing? Uh, Referee's blown up. So, damn it. But yeah, Bronco Lubic, he either kneel down or got down on his knees. Yeah, young Bronco maybe. Sorry, my little camera uh paid attention to some motion, but I was like, "Y- well, yeah, because Bronco Lubic was like the one of the main referees of world class. Oh, that big chop from Lamanumi. Oh, missed the big leg. If he dropped that big leg, that if he connected, that could have been it. Piper's like, look, in the future, I'm not taking that big old leg from Hogan. I'm definitely not taking it from you, you little Lamanamanumi. Lamanamanumi said, hey, I'm not taking your elbow. Skinny runt. Uh, Piper's like, okay, I've had enough of this kind of swinging net breaker. Could that be it for Lamanamanumi? Oh, another swinging net breaker. That could be it there. One, two, three. That probably heck, don't look like Bronco Lubic. Nah, that might not be. Yeah, they gave Lamanamanui some time here, but Piper had to use two swinging net breakers on the Lamanamanumi. Probably the longest 3 count in wrestling. Yeah, this referee and Bronco Lubic had the longest 3 count in wrestling history. Oh, Piper about slipped on that one, didn't he? So, yes, Bulldog Maine here, I think he oh, everything I've seen Bulldog Maine is usually on the West Coast, Portland, San Francisco. Obviously, he didn't do the same, Moondog gimmick, I guess, like Spot and Rex and all that, Spike. So, technically, Piper didn't lie. He had, yeah, but, I mean, that's one of those, but he didn't lie. Maine's shoulders were on the ground, on the mat, as well as Piper's. Trying to Yeah, it looks like Maine didn't do a good job bridging with that German suplex. And it's, you know, the way the referee was positioned, he seen Roddy's shoulders on the mat, not Maine's. And Maine's, he was the, I guess, the aggressor in the move. He's the one who delivered the move. So therefore, I guess the referee would pay attention more to Roddy's shoulders than the guy who did the move. Yeah, that is kind of backwards. This is the San Francisco territory in 1977. Piper was good on the mic, though. Gotta give the devil his due on that one. Playboy Buddy Rose. Is that Mondo Guerrero? Hold on one second. I'll be right. Mondo. Uh, a little more slimmer Playboy Buddy Rose. Might be a little behind you guys, so you're gonna have to bear with me. So yeah, I heard Buddy Rose name, Texas Red, Mondo. Is this Les Thornton? Yeah, that's a whole lot trimmer uh Les Thornton. I can't find his name where. And Les Thornton was I mean, he was definitely not a taco guy, but man, you're not gonna, especially in his heyday, man, Les Thornton was a pretty good wrestler. Oh, that almost went ugly. Of course, like, Mondo is the brother of Hector Chavo and Eddie Guerrero, uncle to Chavo Sr. But, yeah, I think I mentioned it before, there was, one video I seen where this is when the WWF took over Georgia. They actually had, some studio matches, uh, presented by the WWF, and there was a match between Les Thornton and Mr. Wrestling number 2. Very good match. I think they called him I think they did call Les Thornton the man of 1,000 holds as well. I know, for a long time he held the NWA junior heavyweight title a lot of times. Les Thornton did. I think I think he's just one of these wrestlers that didn't wasn't that good on the mic, but definitely very good in the ring. Obviously a smaller guy, built guy, but short. I say smaller, shorter guy. Hey, Footlocker, he pulled the hair again. So this might not be Bronco Lubich. It might be his brother Jimbo. Reach, brother. Reach, ese. Come on, amigo. Another cartwheel, shoulder block. Hey, Footlocker, he pulled the hair again. There's Buddy Rose getting a cheap shot in. Damn. Who was very athletic in that. And finally made that hot tag. But I'm done. Mondo said, I'm done. Time for you, Mr. European, with those uppercuts and flips and stuff. Heavy forearms. All right, Jimbo, get in there. Oh, it's breaking down in Tulsa here now. Big atomic drop. Ooh, nice little backbreaker there. That could be it. And ooh, they're like, dang it, if you ain't gonna freaking stay down, we'll just shove you off, buddy. God dang, even the announcer had to take a bump there. Mondo wasn't having that. Mondo man. Okay, now I can understand why Hector, Cavo, Eddie. Dang, look at side. Is that side? spanked. We're not gonna leave that alone that he said he's, you know, a guy by the name of Playboy Buddy Rose, who wrestles in San Francisco, say he spanked another dude. That's what's like. Well, I mean, I guess they them being in San Francisco, California, they probably got a lot of Japanese people come in that came in, and a lot of the Mexicans that came in, and they like to use those chops. So with those sideburns, who's still talking about spanking other dudes? Chops, sideburns. What? Well, you don't have the mullets, but by God, you got a porn stash there. Oh, Nelson Royal. Yeah, that's a that's a very young, very skinny, dynamite kid. Yeah, Nelson Royal's not looking good in this match. Yeah, I didn't. Heck, I was almost thinking that was Bret Hart at first. Hasn't stopped. He's been stop he stopped right there. Oh, now he's getting up. Oh, blurry there. Double underhook suplex. Got him. Oh, we get Roddy Piper again. Oh, Pete Marquez. Yes, sir. From the taco stand across the road, it is. What's his name again? This guy's already a trainer of many of the legends of Mexico. Already have trained Mil Mascaras, El Santo, Blue Demon Jr., Blue, G- Blue Demon Jr., Oh Pete Marquez. Actually, Biz Marquez's Mexican brother. I don't think Marquez here is might not be the same caliber as Lama Numi, but it's nice to for old Hot Rod to give him a chance. I don't know if little Piper there. I don't think he needs to be trying to do a test of strength with this guy or a battle of strength with this guy. He, he's a little bigger than uh, most of your luchadors, but be careful with him. Get you one of them hurricanranas. And we got a different referee here. Who's this referee? Stumpy Harris. This must be Stumpy Harris. See, look there, that referee. He's getting in there. So hey, watch them fists, buddy. Oh, look, hey, it looks like Marquez, man. He trying to show his oh, Piper's showing he can do the lucha stuff too. Okay, now he's getting on Piper again from a distance. Oh, Marquez said, "Look, we can go fisticuffs here, buddy." I I wait for Marquez hit one of those world famous suicide dives there. Hey, he's Marquezing up now. Pistol Pete Marquez. Those forearms to the chest, all legal. Only thing illegal about that, he was in the corner. They get him out of the corner there. Marquez getting his now. But nah, you ain't gonna shut me out there, bagpipe boy. Hell yeah. Marquez said, nah, Mingo. No more fajitas. I ate them all, Mingo. You can have a you can have some chips and salsa. Looks like they need to tighten up those ropes a little bit. Hey, come on in there. Get in there, Foot Locker. Come on, Stumpy Harris. Oh, god dang. Oh, look, not really. Look like a chop to the face. Up, here we go. That's his coup de grace. So one swinging net breaker. Up, and the pipester wants to give him another one. Another swinging net breaker. All right, hook the leg. Oh, Piper. Piper wins again. Oh, Pete, upset with himself. He said, "Man, I should have hit him with that Hurricanrana and a suicide dive." He's saying, "Piper, One of these days, you humiliated my hero, my childhood hero, my trainer, Pete Marquez, my taco cook. When the Moondogs learn to talk? See what? We're used to those Moondog Spikes and Moondog Spots and Moondog Rexes, man. Those Moondogs don't talk. Yeah, he's housebroken, neutered. Let him fight. There we go. I was about to say, yeah, here comes something. Move, Mister Microphone. He hit him with a chip. There we go. It's breaking down in the studio. He cheated on him. What's the full story on this one? Oh, they must have been partners or something like that. And okay, partners. Yeah, now, I mean, granted, there was a time in the USWA where the Moondogs were baby faces because they ran out of baby faces. They brought in the dog catchers. Be there. Oh, that's not Freddie Miller. Yeah, the dog catchers versus the Moondogs in USWA. Language there, Piper? And we didn't come back. That's it. So, a lot of yeah, I kinda seen here there was, yeah, a lot of Piper yeah, it looks like they spliced 2 shows together, um, or whoever made the video or YouTube video, spliced a couple of shows together. Showed a lot of Piper, but from, kinda reading on his book and looking up a lot of stuff, there it was basically the Piper show in that territory, especially at this time. But, he liked to yell a lot, and he gave some pretty detailed interviews. Uh, Not a loss for words, Piper, but that's why he became a legend, though. I mean, like I said before, good thing he could talk because he definitely wasn't well, I mean, 70s, you didn't really have to be a muscle-bound guy, but he was on the skinny side, too. I mean, I don't know if that's why Foley made him like, a color commentator, but I think he would wrestle often in Georgia, too. Guess, try to do something a little different at the time, but yeah, interesting stuff. Got to see a younger, a little bit thinner, Buddy Rhodes, Playboy Buddy Rhodes. Yeah, young and in shape. Um, I mean, like I said, he was never never had the six pack abs or the cut physique. A lot of people in the '70s didn't have that. Oh yeah, something you kind of have to dig deeper one day. Because you know how they say, some of these older wrestlers didn't want to give up the spots to the barrel chest, the power lifter type physiques. Bruno, then um, Ken Patera, big guy, but kind of a barrel chest, kind of kept covered up most of the time. Now somebody like Ricky Steamboat, yeah, he was a he was a he was a gym guy, kept in great shape, cardiovascular and body wise, cosmetic, not too bad. Uh, that Texas Red, he looked pretty big. Oh, talk about barrel chest, Les Thornton, he was a kind of big, kind of a thick barrel chested guy, even though he was always like the junior heavyweight champion. Um, see it some a Calgary match with uh, a very young Dynamite Kid, very young, uh, before the vitamins. Can we say that? Before the vitamins, because he got a lot bigger than that. I mean, not height wise, but as far as you know, arms, physique, everything, a lot bigger. But instance might be something we will have to visit again. Um, think figure out something next week. I need to start trying to figure out having the history portion and what I show kind of intertwine a little bit better. Maybe I should look up the history, then set up the video before I get off to my head. That way they can intertwine a little better. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for me this evening. Appreciate everybody tuning in on Facebook Live and on YouTube. Uh, like I said, on YouTube or on Facebook, I think it's going to be there for 30 days, but on YouTube, it's going to be forever. So if you didn't catch it the first time on live, catch it then. Still, leave your comments. Like I said, help your boy out. Leave a comment. Hit the thumbs up buttons. If you follow me on YouTube or subscribe to my YouTube, hey, jump over to Facebook, follow me there as well. Those on Facebook, hit that fit. Like I said, help your boy out. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's always helpful. Uh, Other than that, you folks have a good one. Take it easy. And until next time.
So long from the peach state of Georgia.
Ronald Ray here saying thank you for checking out my video. If you don't mind, go ahead and click that thumbs up button, leave a comment, and share this video with family and friends. I would also appreciate it if you would subscribe to RP2 Vision, where I cover the sport of professional wrestling from yesterday to today. Now, don't forget to click the notification bell as well, so you'll be notified when my other weekly content is available, like